welcome back to Leafs Fans in Hostile Lands. I'm your host, Mr. Kyle, Dr. Nurse, and I've got Dan and Craig with me. Wow. It's time to talk about the Leafs. Is it? No, it's not. Let's not talk about the Leafs yet. Let's talk about that freaking all-star skills competition and game. We'll start with our bet. Let's start with the bet because it was super exciting. So we made bets, and I hope you made bets too. And the list wasn't out yet. So some of our players that we picked didn't even play in the event that we picked them for. And that was okay. So Dan won hardest shot with Victor Hedman, and we didn't know the save streak was going to be a duo.
That was Craig. Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. Hey, if we're going to talk about betting in Vegas, you have to get this right or kneecaps are going to get broken here.
But yeah, Dan and I won or split or whatever the Campbell and Vasilevsky win for the Atlantic Division on the save streak, and we didn't win anything else. So
Yep.
When we found out the names for the new stuff for the fountain shot, which was basically like that fun skills thing they used to do with all the gadgets and stuff, like that was pretty cool, or it's another kind of accuracy shot. Mm-hmm. And the 21 and 22, we made Facebook bets on that. So for the fountain bet, I picked, oh God, who did I pick? I think I picked Huberdeau. So I didn't win. And Craig, who did you pick?
Jocelyn LD.
Yes. Yeah. JLD. Awesome.
JLD.
Dan, do you remember who you picked?
I don't remember who I picked. No.
Either way, you didn't win.
No, I didn't win.
This is compelling podcast.
I picked Giroux.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the 21, I picked Pavelski. Woo! And I won. And you guys didn't. So I won the bet.
Pavelski killed it.
He did.
Went like, what,
and you know
5
what?
for 5, didn't he? Called it all 5.
Yep.
He did.
Picked every shot.
Yep.
But the fact that like some of the players crawled back, like they got 2s and 3s with some of their first shots, and then they crawled back and every player got 21.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's pretty
cool.
I was thinking it was 32 thoughts. They mentioned like make the cards smaller because these guys are too good.
Yeah.
Like, obviously.
Yeah.
So if they were to revisit something like this in Florida next year, yeah, just make things smaller. Make it harder.
What are they going to have to do in Florida? Just aim for iguanas or something hanging in the trees, or like what's the theme in the Florida game?
Snowbirds, Canadian snowbirds. Who can take out the most Canadian snowbird?
Yeah, who can shoot a puck into the crowd and hit a Canadian first?
Yeah,
you can get like points for doubles and triples.
Exactly. Okay, skills competition. What were the good things? Okay, let's strike off the best thing. Zegras was the best.
Amazing.
Like,
what
so
was that?
cool. And that I think that just shows you need to bring the most creative people, not just the one from each team sort of thing. Like, that was an excellent idea by the league or whoever mentioned it or whatever. And he put on a show. Like, I thought he was trying it as he went down the ice. I'm like, oh, blindfolded. Like, it might just, might flop. Oh, and then they're coming out with dodgeballs. I'm like, someone's going to hit the dodgeball to the puck or they're going to hit him and it's going to flop.
That was ridiculous.
He nailed it.
Yeah.
Like 15 million spins and scored. Like, what the heck?
He knew exactly where the puck was every second. And he seemed to know how his fake at the end would move the goalie. It was just incredibly well done and blindfolded. It made my night. It made the whole skills competition.
Now, Jeff Merrick made a really good point that, you can suspend reality for a bit and you have to stop and think that what do owners not want to happen is a player to get injured. Do you think they'd actually let him blindfold himself? So like, he had to be able to see through that blindfold. The NHL would never have let him do that if he was actually blindfolded. But still, the move, blindfolded or not, was insane. I think the Jack Hughes one with the mini Jack Hughes was the one that I had the most fun with. I remember watching that and just like, okay, that was pretty cool. The stick toss afterwards. And, that
was the big box.
Yeah. Put a smile on my face. It was nice and Vegas themed. It wasn't just a marching band, but it was something creative. Those are the ones that you need to have out there and not just, Okay. I also didn't realize it was Kaprizov that did the OV. I thought it was Kuznetsov the entire time. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
that's
no,
funny.
that was Kirill Kaprizov. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Absolutely. And that was by far, I think, the best event. And the fact that it hasn't been around since 2016 is a travesty. Like, that's so cool. And it would have been cool in all the years in between. Why they got rid of it is, I don't know. So let's call that number one. Other highlights from the All-Star game, Dan.
So for me, I don't know if I call it a highlight, but I really liked the 21 game, and then I really disliked the other one, the other new one.
The fountain shoot one.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of like the 21 was a pretty cool setup. I didn't really know who was going to participate going in, so it was kind of like, yeah, they'll probably pick. They kind of picked like the top 5 best scorers they could find there, and then let everybody else do everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of fun with that one.
Craig, other highlights?
See, I actually did like the fountain one. I think the concept was cool. I think the light up puck thing was stupid and just threw them all off.
Yep.
If they just, turn on the pucks, whatever. I don't care. Use glow in the dark pucks. But I think the concept of that was a lot of fun. I'm glad that they brought back the foam plates on the accuracy shooting, because there was a couple there that like Aho had just skimmed the edge of it. And you wouldn't be able to see that with, a target, like the screen probably wasn't going to pick that up, since last time it didn't pick anything up. But
yeah,
I think I like just those classic ones. I love seeing the fastest skater, the accuracy, the hardest shot, the classic ones. But I did love to see the breakaway challenge.
Yeah, I think the whole thing was stupid except the breakaway challenge. Like, in life, when you have high expectations for something, because it should be good. You guys are a multi-million-dollar company and you've got a lot of cool think tanks and you got some fun players. And then they give you this.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, the breakaway challenge was so far above the rest of it. You started with fastest skater and you're not doing it from the blue line anymore. Are you nuts? Like, they got to get a head start, and you started with it. That's one of the most exciting ones because it actually has a timer on it. You start with that. Okay, we've peaked early. Great. Then you do the save streak, and you don't even give the goalies their own save streak. It's the
combination one. That was kind of odd. I didn't.
And you know what?
That.
I would have been fine with it if they did a finals where the two Atlantic goalies went against each other.
Yeah, you're right.
And you had a save streak.
Yeah.
And oh my God. Okay, fine. The Pacific gets an extra person because they're in Vegas, so they got an extra Vegas person. You know what that meant?
The house always wins.
Goddamn Connor McDavid didn't even shoot.
Yeah.
Are you stupid? And also, just let him go.
Yeah,
just
it doesn't
for fun.
matter. It doesn't mean anything. Like, what? You think he's going to go and injure the guy at the other end of the ice, the goalie?
No. Like, the best player. So that was so stupid. Then they did the fountain one. Oh my God. Talk about the most boring TV ever. First of all, hockey players are not good on the mic.
They're
Stop asking them questions. Even Jerry D. Like, Jerry D, man, you're a funny dude.
Eventually he gave up.
Stop trying to get the hockey players to talk. Like, they are not funny.
There's like 3 funny hockey players in the AHL, but none of them were
None of them are there.
Not in that competition.
Yager's in goddamn Czechia. No, he's not there. Brizgalov doesn't even play anymore.
Oh, I miss Briz. Yeah, they need to have him at that.
Craig nailed it. Have the puck lights on.
Like, at no point did they mic up Jack Campbell. If you want to have someone that's fun, have him during the save streak, but have him mic'd up and make it entertaining.
Forgot about the save streak. Obvious GoPros on the goalie helmets, but what was it just ESPN that got them?
Probably.
Like, Sportsnet couldn't get a hold of those GoPros or something? We can see the camera. Why aren't we seeing this? Like, who screwed this up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back to the fountain. Craig nailed it. The lights should have just been on the whole time. Glow in the dark pucks. And the players knew they weren't real pucks. It was like, okay, they feel a little heavier, so it's going to mess with us. That's fine. But just put them on.
Did you know that those were filmed the night before? The fountain and
yes.
how could they not edit that to make it more compelling? It was
I
the
know,
day
I know,
before.
they
You
had
had
so much
24
time.
hours to edit that. Like, South Park can put an entire episode out in 24 hours.
And music. Have you heard of music? Like silence during these drone shots? Like, just put a little bit of
Anything,
something
yeah.
to get us going.
But like edit out the
come
moments of them
on.
like trying to get the pucks. Like just do
Yeah.
something to make it less boring.
Make it exciting. So we did that. And then there was hardest shot. Fine. It was as cool as it could have been. And it was quick, easy. Loved it.
Unfortunately,
no problem
I
with
think
hardest shot.
the best guys for that. I don't know. Is hardest shot even something that we should do anymore? Because nobody takes slap shots. It's like, was it really?
Yeah, I know, but it's not a skill thing. It's just it's a fun thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's for the fans, for the numbers.
Yeah. That's just a fun one. Nobody missed the net, which is rare.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
Like,
But there was also
everyone
only
got
4
the net.
people, and like in the past,
Somebody
they've done
fanned, didn't they?
6 or
That's
8 or
true.
something. I don't think so.
Yeah, there's usually a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay, then we go to the 21-22 game. I thought it was fun, but same idea. Music. Are you kidding me? These guys are not funny. Even the banter between them, like, don't care.
Yep.
Do not care. Just put some tunes in there, and it would have made it a little bit more exciting, like some Vegas tunes. Make
Hire
it
a house
exciting.
band. Like have them off to the side and just,
Yeah.
playing some jazz or something off the side. Doesn't really matter. Like hire a group for $500 for the night and come and play some music. Like you're the NHL. You are
Accuracy
a-
shot. Accuracy shot was the last one. Like, really? That's it.
Yeah.
That was like, end with one of the cool ones. End with 21 and 22.
Or even harder
End with
shot. Like it's
Hardest shot. Boom. Bing, bang, bing. Out of here.
Mhm.
See ya. Have a great night. Couldn't believe that. I do like the foam. That was good. Aho got robbed because he definitely got through all 4, and then the timer went off like 3 seconds later.
Didn't he win though?
Oh yeah, he still
Yeah,
won.
he won.
Oh, okay.
but he wasn't last.
Yeah.
So it could have been different. Yeah, not impressed. Like, come on. It could have been so much better with a couple tweaks.
Just a little Vegas showmanship would have really gone a long way. They kind of
Mhm.
kept it like just broadcast television. Like you're watching a hockey game, which, great if you're watching a hockey game, but we're watching a whole lot of lag time between everything.
Now, the actual game itself, I know Craig didn't get a chance to watch it. Dan, did you get a chance to watch it?
I did not get a chance to watch it. That is prime kid time, so I was not
Fair enough,
watching
fair
hockey.
enough. So I did watch it, and the first game sucked. It seems like way back in the day when they did not care at all. Second and third game were actually exciting. It seemed like the players were actually playing for something, just not hurting each other. Like, it was all showmanship. It was all great. They were really, when they started playing defense, it was fun. That was great.
Is it possible they had a bit of the Pete DeBoer syndrome and were a little hungover for those games?
A little bit. That was funny,
Yeah,
though.
that's
when he said
Vegas,
that.
baby.
It was like, yep, thank you for being honest. That's a bit. I love it. I love it. But it was just, it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't great. It was just okay. And the players, they don't really care. $1 million, sure, that's fine. Good on Claude Giroux, though, for getting MVP. He did really have a cool game and kind of puts him on the map a little bit as a trade chip, even more than he already was. So it's like, hey, he's still got it, just maybe on a bad team.
Oh, I think he's definitely still got it. He's still, he has like 27 points or something this season on the god-awful Philadelphia Flyers. Now, I have heard people say, like, somebody's got to score, but that's not true. Montreal exists. So, like, yeah, I honestly, I would love to see Claude Giroux go somewhere this season since he is a UFA. Go off for 1 year, win something, re-sign in Philadelphia if all you want, but this season is lost.
Plus, he's one of those like legacy names at this point. He's like one of the Thorntons, so.
Jeez, he's only a
you
year
want him on
older
your
than us,
team
man.
regardless. Oh well, yeah, but like, think of hockey players.
Actually,
a year
no,
older than us
he's
is-
younger than you, Daniel.
Oh, that's depressing. Oh well, okay. I'm gonna stop talking now.
I'm worried.
Don't worry, you might be
because he
drafted
is a
next year,
legacy
Dan.
player.
Oh yeah, that's
That's true.
likely.
I'm worried that because he is a legacy player, he's a Philadelphia legacy player that
Could be.
he'll just resign and stick around and maybe even on a deal because he is getting older and his points have dropped off, but not. He's still he's a star,
Yeah.
but maybe not a Matthews star. Okay, anything else in the All-Star game? It was okay. It was just like, come on, we can do better.
Yep, All-Star game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of we can do better, the Chicago Blackhawks. Wow.
Good
what
segue.
a dumpster fire that place is. There are so many places you can learn about what's going on with the Blackhawks. It's basically Rocky Wirtz is an asshole and hasn't changed, even though he's had many statements saying we're going to move forward and do a bunch of great things. It's not true. You're in your head, buddy. You're just like your dad. And I don't know. We don't have to say much on it.
It was disappointing that it's just another one of those cases of, sweep it under the rug. But he said the quiet part out loud. Like, he just screamed it at them. So, like,
Yeah.
It's such a backward step that it's disappointing to see. And disappointing to see that publicly. Behind closed doors, I mean, it's unacceptable there too, but it happens. But, he just blatantly said, we're not going to talk about this. And Kyle Beach, we don't mention his name. Like,
Yeah, just went off on a reporter for a good question.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with what he was yelling about.
It was a good question. It wasn't about 2010.
No.
It was forward. What are you going to do next?
If we don't want to talk about the past, oh, well, I'm not asking about it. That's fine.
Yeah.
It was really too bad because, Rocky Wirtz is considered in Chicago to be someone that's kind of saved the team from his father. But I think he's gotten to the point that reminds me of the line, either you die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. And unfortunately, Rocky, you have now become the villain.
Yep, well said.
He has. I liked what Gretzky said. If you're a parent of an 18-year-old kid that's about to get drafted and potentially drafted quite high because Chicago's not great, are you allowing your kid to go? Or does your kid even want to go? Are we going to see a Lindros situation where he didn't want to play for the owner of the Nordiques and was like, nope, not doing this. Trade me. I think that's a plausible situation depending on the player that they potentially sign.
Yeah, and talk about gravitas. When Gretzky says something like that, you listen. Because Gretzky doesn't say a lot. And when he says something like that, the hockey world is going to listen.
Yeah, good point.
All right. So enough on the bad things like All-Star Game and the Chicago Blackhawks. Oh, sorry. Last thing on Chicago. I agree with many, many people saying now's the time to change the logo. I know they have received
totally.
They've received permission or whatever from the indigenous communities around that they've been emulating. It's like, no, this is fine, this is cool, and you guys do good stuff for us. But you know what? This is a great time to just not be affiliated with a logo that is a human. Like there's so many other things. So
like
rebrand,
start again.
Literally a Black Hawk. Your name are the Black Hawks. You can
be a damn Kraken. You can just
a
mythical
space
things here.
Yeah. You can make it look like a big raven if you want. We'll call it a hawk, I swear. The Maple Leafs is an oak leaf, so we call the Maple Leafs, it's fine.
That's a good point.
Like, I didn't think
does
about
this look like a maple leaf to you?
No.
No.
It does.
If anyone, I held my shirt up in
funny.
front of my face, so that's what, if I sounded different.
My mind is kind of blown right now. I don't know how I didn't think about this before. Maybe that's why that logo, the most recent logo that is not this one, was like, oh yeah, it's a bad logo, but it's
a maple
correct.
leaf. Yeah.
That is actually correct. So the Leafs won yesterday.
They did.
Which is a good thing. And it didn't look like they were going to because Freddie Anderson was kind of standing on his head and Mrazek let in a couple soft goals to start off. He was trying, though. Like, he seemed a little flaily, but he was doing okay. And unfortunately, at the end of the game, Matthews takes a hit to the back of the head, a knee to the back of the head. He gets off the ice by his own feet, which is good. Supposedly he's feeling okay today. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a game or two off, but maybe he does travel with the team. And lastly, Marner is on fire.
Yes, he is.
8-game goal streak, 10 goals in 8 games. Very, very exciting. Let's start with Mrazek, though. We talked about him quite a bit last week. Did you find him to be solid or shaky in this game? And does it maybe change your mind about what we said last week? Trade him while he's hot or just keep using him, or do we need to see more games, or have we seen enough to say this is good to go? Dan, what do you think?
Well, so I agree with your analysis. He started off kind of shaky and kind of found his footing later in the game. Really playing quite well in overtime, I thought, and kind of bailed the Leafs out at least once. I would like to see some more games from him. I don't think he's ready to be traded. I don't think we can get the potential out of him right now for a trade. Like, I think we can get more from him if he develops a little bit more, gets a little bit more comfortable on the team, and maybe plays a few more games beside Campbell. I think, with the games we have coming up, I think Campbell will probably see 2 of the 3 games, but I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Mrazek play 2 and Campbell play 1, give Campbell a little bit of a break, and then, give Mrazek a few more games. But I think we hold him for now.
I just don't think the Leafs have the depth behind them to make any sort of run without Mrazek. Like, he's not playing terrible. Yes, he's costing some money right now, but they've already allocated his money in the cap this season, so that's not really an issue. Sure, we'll look at it in the offseason, but like, Campbell has had a history of injury, and if he goes down, then we're down. If we trade Mrazek, we're down to Joseph Woll and Hutchinson, or like trying to find someone on the Growlers. Like, I don't think the Leafs just
or someone that comes back, maybe.
Oh, and maybe, but like, who would you trade to for Mrazek to have a solid enough backup that's going to be at the same level as even Mrazek?
Yep.
Like, the teams that are at the bottom of the league don't have goalies right now to trade with. Like, we're not going to get, like, would Martin Jones be an upgrade over Peter Mrazek? I don't think so.
No.
Like,
no.
You look in the bottom teams, like, is Seattle going to move on from one of their goalies who literally cannot stop a beach ball right now? Like, I think they're below an 800 saving percentage in Seattle. Like, things are just off the rails. Montreal has nobody. Buffalo's got literally nobody. They had to bring back Craig Anderson early from his injury just to play a game. Phoenix apparently they've got a George Vezina in net, but they're not going to move on from him. Like, I just don't see what goalie is going to come back in a trade for Mrazek at this point to really make it worth it. I think there's other places in the lineup that they can move players to make up that salary. But I think Mrazek's been playing well. Yes, he was a little shaky. He was not set up for that second goal at the beginning of third period, the 8 seconds in.
Yeah,
absolutely did not have his head in the game yet. So he needs to do that, first of all. But the rest of the game, from the highlights I saw, he looked like he was playing well. He seemed pretty squared up. He is a bit of a flaily goalie. Reminds me a little bit more of Anderson, who was flaily Anderson last night. But I think we just still need to see more of him. I would like to see him play maybe 60% of the games going forward. Give Jack some rest time and make sure that
60.
Well, we've got
60%.
We've got 40 games left, which would give him, 22, 23 of the remaining 40. Like, sure.
Oh my God.
It's a lot of rest for Campbell before playoffs.
Well, they've been playing well. They signed him to be a 1B. Let him be a 1B, because Jack has been a 1A plus all season so far.
Yeah.
Let him rest. If Jack feels great and he wants to play more games, then give him good runs. But the Leafs are going to have a lot of back-to-backs. And I think we should play Campbell on one of the back-to-backs and the one game in the middle, that they should be playing Mrazek as much as they possibly can. Because that's how they're going to get any sort of capital for him to trade him in the offseason. If he can prove that he can stay healthy, because that has been the issue over his entire career, is that he hasn't been able to stay healthy. If he can play 60% of the games going forward, the Leafs can still get a good playoff spot, as long as he's playing well. If the Leafs can get a good playoff spot, if he can play a lot of games, then they can move him for a good number, a good return in the offseason at that point.
That's true. I don't know if I think 60 is, 60%. Maybe if it was
it's like 22-18, like
I know, but I would prefer it at least go Campbell's direction, like maybe 25-15.
But
or
Campbell's already played 70% of the games up to this point is the problem.
Yeah, but he's the guy.
Yeah,
he's the guy.
I know.
He's got to be ready 100% for the playoffs.
I just don't want to see him injured.
That's fine.
But we also want his confidence up for the playoffs. If he's playing second string right now, or not second string, but like if he's second goalie, how's he going to feel going into the playoffs? Maybe Mrazek goes on a crazy run right before the playoffs, and then we have Jack shaking confidence. Mrazek's on a high. Who do you play?
Well, maybe think of it this way. With all the games that are postponed, some of those were already Mrazek's games that they're just going to replay.
That's true.
That's fair.
Yeah. I've been looking at the schedule. It's actually like coming up here is not super full. It's only, about still 3 games per week, maybe 1 4-game here. The Sens are playing 5 games this week. Now that's Monday to Sunday, but still, that's a lot. Oh my God.
It's 5 and 7.
5 and 7. Not fun. I think Mrazek is great.
5 and 7.
I hate that musical. Actually, it's not a bad musical. Mrazek's got a 4-game win streak, like for himself.
That's
so
true.
I dig it. He just looks a little flaily in there. But also, Justin Hall fucking sucks. Oh my God.
On that third goal, he did nothing. He watched the puck go behind him, and he watched it go to the net, and he watched him go in the net.
Like, Mrazek has to flail because some of his defensemen are
Not
just
there.
terrible.
Yeah.
Just not there. But we're not there yet. Give me a second. We're just going to get rid of Hall. Oh my God. Marner. Why is he so good now at scoring? Like, he's not a scorer. He's a playmaker. He gives the puck to Matthews, and Matthews scores. Okay, he did that in the game as well. Did you guys see that insane play that they figured out before the face-off?
Yes.
It was the third goal, I think, that they went ahead for the first time.
Over to Riley, back to Matthews.
Yeah.
That was
just
a nice
incredible.
play.
Just the one where it went to Marner, but the defenseman was coming, but Riley went the other way, boom, and then right to Matthews in the center, and boom! It was ridiculous. I love those set plays that just work out, and it's so good. So good. But, yeah,
When they work.
Where's this scoring touch coming from with Marner? Like, did he have it the whole time, or is he just like, you know what, I'm going to feel like scoring? What do you think?
Marner did say after the game that one thing that's led to him scoring more goals is taking more dirty shots. He was saying what they were looking for in the past were clean looks. Like, he was always trying to find that clean play. Now he said he's just throwing those dirty ones on, like, and they seem to be going in because he has a good shot. It's fairly deceptive. And by shooting through traffic, the Leafs are getting bounces right now. Like, just send it on net, and if he doesn't get it in, he's got Bunting there, or he's got Matthews there. There's somebody in front of the net to bang those pucks in. And that's one big difference. Before, the Leafs, they'd pass it around, they're always trying to find that clean look, trying to find that perfect spot. But that's not how the good teams win. That's not how the good teams score. If you look at the teams that beat the Leafs all the time, they're just throwing pucks at the net and something just goes in because it's a game on ice with knives on your feet, played with a bouncy rubber puck. Like, things will happen. If you miss 100% of those shots, you don't take. So you got to get those pucks on the net. Marner is getting pucks on the net, and they're going in.
100% of the shots you don't take. Craig Shaw, Michael Scott,
Wayne Gretzky.
Dan, what do you think about Marner?
I mean, he's incredible. I think, Craig, you're pretty much bang on the nose. I had a much more simplified, kind of like boiled down answer than all of that, but I was going to say his positioning has been fantastic lately, which is leading to those goals, leading to him being able, leading to him
Absolutely
having those screens or being just a little bit ahead of their defense or just close enough that he can get by them and go on a little bit of a breakaway or, make some kind of move happen at center ice. So I think he's fantastic. His position's great. I'd love to see him keep this streak going and see how far it can go.
And the nice thing is that he's got
a little trickery too.
Yeah, and he's got Bunting on his line, pissing off 1 or 2 guys on the ice, which means Marner or Matthews is going to have a lot more time. Now, like, Hyman
does piss people off.
Hyman was a good player.
God.
He worked hard, but I don't think he pissed guys off in the same way that Bunting does. And I think by having that, it's just that extra little distraction that lets your other line mates have a lot more space, room, and time.
And everybody's watching Matthews for those like come from behind shots or like him sneaking somewhere. So if he's sneaking and Marner's sneaking, we can't lose.
And like, goalies are going to be cheating toward Matthews when Marner has the puck. You're just going to assume that's going to be going that way. If Marner just shoots on the other side of the goalie, he has a good chance of scoring because you have to give Matthews that respect.
Kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week with having a couple extra tools in the toolbox as opposed to throwing out the same thing. You know, obviously a lot of skill and a good amount of speed, but the other team knows it, especially in a 7-game series. They can watch the tape. This is what they're going to do. Now you can kind of mix things up a little bit. It doesn't always go to Matthews. Sometimes it's Marner sticks with it, or it goes back to Marner, and there's the goal right there. So that's pretty cool, and it throws the teams off. Really important to do stuff like that. Finally, halfway through the season, this could be a trade answer, but it could also be a coach answer or coaching answer or something the Leafs just need to get into their heads. Let us know what you think at home as well. What is one thing, quick question, one thing, Craig, this is a quick question, just like a 1 minute thing, man.
10 minute thing. Okay, yeah, got it.
No, 1, not 1-0. Just 1.0.
1-0.0.
One thing
Okay.
the Leafs need to improve on for the second half. And let's not talk about playoffs yet. Let's say leading into the playoffs, one thing they need to work on before we get to the playoffs. Dan, start us out. What's that one thing?
I mean, for me, it's defense. We've got really good goaltending right now. Obviously, if you look at the scores over the last 20 games, our scoring hasn't been a problem. We're always multiple goals. In fact, in the last game against the Canes, the Leafs came back from a 1-goal deficit twice to win it, which, you know, shows some real resilience. So I'm not worried there. Our power plays percentage is fantastic. Our penalty kill is 4th in the league. Power plays first. You know, special teams are working. So for me, it's defense. Like, as you mentioned, Hall, we know that's not working very well. I'm really liking watching Liljegren and Dermott play right now. I think they're doing well, but Muzzin's lacking a little bit. And that would be the one place I think we really need to focus our attention.
Now, focus our attention in terms of bringing in a player to be better, or just like these players need to get better?
It's these players need to get better. I don't think moving at this point is really going to make a lot of sense. You know, when Hall goes, I'm not sure who would come up to replace him, but we could make that work. And then the line mix up. Muzzin's going to stay. Riley's not going anywhere. So I would work with the players we have right now, and you know, maybe something towards the trade deadline if Dubas is feeling frisky, but who knows?
There's not a lot I would change with the Leafs right now. Yeah, maybe their defense can be better, but I think that's going to come with playing Sandin more. Sandin has been excellent. I think he needs to take Muzzin's spot for good on that second pairing. Now, I don't know if it's going to be Hall beside him, or if it's going to be Liljegren or Dermott, but I think Sandin needs to play those minutes and use Muzzin more as just a third pairing shutdown guy. And because I don't know what it is, his feet just aren't with him anymore. If they can give him more of the Spezza Simmons treatment, where he's going to be playing maybe more in the offensive end, or he's just shut down at the end. I don't know. I think they just need to change those assignments, because Sandin has looked good. The advanced stats are showing it. Like, he is making all of those right side defensemen better when they're playing with him. I think it may be Dermott. When he plays with him, they've got something like a 65% Corsi. It's crazy, or expected goal. Like, he's making everybody better. That, no, we can't take away Riley's minutes. Riley's playing some of the best hockey of his career right now. But I think that Sandin needs to be getting those Muzzin minutes going forward. And he's really shown it over the last couple games with Muzzin being out.
When is Muzzin back? I was going to ask. Do we know? Next game?
Could be.
Could.
Day to day at this point, I believe.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were expecting him to be back after the All-Star game. But
I thought he would be too.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I think it's okay that he rests
absolutely
a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
It's that we're doing okay. Like, I think it'll still be better. I don't know who comes out, though. I don't want Liljegren coming out. No. I can see Dermott coming out before him. I can see Hall coming out.
Honestly, at this point, I think it would be Hall.
Yeah. I think so, too. For me, I like what you guys said. Now, this isn't necessarily an improvement. It's a continuation, and to remember this part of the season. We were blowing leads for a couple days, couple games, and these past couple weeks, we've always been coming back. We've had that resiliency that the team has been lacking, especially in the playoffs. So they need to remember this time and apply it when it happens again, because it will happen again. So keep that resiliency going. You know, say they'll get on a hot streak where they're just outscoring like crazy. Don't forget that every NHL team can beat you. Like, they're all really good. It's just putting those wins together and keeping that resiliency. Now, you guys did talk about potential moves, maybe. Maybe Hall goes, maybe Mrazek goes. Dubas, I guess he had a little bit of time with the media during the All-Star break. He mentioned to, I'm not sure if it was to Luke Fox, but Luke Fox tweeted it. He said, Dubas said, "My preference is to acquire players with term and with as much time as possible." He qualifies, so this is maybe afterthought, that it's not always easy to trade for his preference, especially in recent times. So if we think 2 years ago, was it 2 or maybe 3 years ago? It was Muzzin, and then there was it Muzzin Campbell? Jeez, I've already forgot.
No, they came over
Or
at
was it-
different times.
Different times. So there was Muzzin,
Yeah.
and Muzzin had some time, and Campbell came over the following year,
Yeah.
and he had some time. However, this past year, it was almost exclusively UFAs. We had Hutton in there. We had a couple other throw-ins for depth. And then the big fish was Foligno, expiring contract, first-round pick going out the window. And then David Riddick also coming in, third-round pick out the window, which I just saw that Calgary traded to Chicago for Nikita Zadorov back in the offseason. So that was interesting. So, Dubas says that. Couple options on defense that I've pulled out from my many other podcast listenings and things like that. I don't think, have we talked about Chychrun yet? We talked about him a little bit. Maybe just some chat.
very briefly, yeah.
Yeah.
But Jacob Chychrun is obviously on the block for the Arizona Coyotes. He's got 4 years left, including the rest of this year, at $4.6 million. He's like a top-line defenseman, really, really good young player, and only at 4.6 for an extended period of time. Do you think this checks Dubas's box? And do you think maybe it works for the team for an extended period of time? Craig, start with you.
Sure. Like, he's a great player, but whose minutes is he taking? We've got Riley, who just signed a new contract, and we've got Sandin, who is probably our best defensive prospect at this point, and he's going to be a second-line guy for sure. So where's Chychrun going to play? He's a left side defenseman. We're pretty solid on that left side. I just don't. I think that the price is going to be too high for him to really make it worth it to bring him back, to give him second, third minutes, and then waste a guy like Sandin. I think I know he's a guy that he's a kind of a proven commodity, and we don't really know what Sandin is yet. But I like the way that Sandin plays. He's also the thing that I know at this point, and I feel comfortable with him.
Fair
It's a
enough.
pandemic.
Dan, you
I'm
got
fine with what
anything,
I'm comfortable with.
Danny, got anything on Chychrun, maybe stats-wise or anything?
I mean, so looking at his stats this year obviously is not going to work very well because he's only got, I think, 10 points. But he's playing for Arizona, so
So
that's to be
85%
expected.
of the points on the team.
Yeah, exactly. In previous seasons with him, though, he's done well. He's 20, 26, 41. But his blocks and hits are also pretty high up for every season except for this one. So I was leaning towards him, but then Craig spoke, and now I hadn't thought that he's left side, and I don't love giving up anybody on the left side right now. If he was right side, sure, get rid of Hall and find the money somewhere, but it's not really going to work out that way. And I think we've got good prospects in Sandin, and Riley, we're not getting rid of it anytime soon.
Do you think Sandin could play the right? He did for a bit.
Did he? I didn't know
I think
that.
he's played on Riley's right.
But do we teach him that? Like, do we let him do that for the second half of the season when we're trying to go in a playoff run?
Yeah, but with Chychrun there, like Chychrun, Sandin.
Oh boy.
And if Chychrun doesn't work out, then we're back to where we started, though, with a player that's now kind of confused us where he plays.
No, he's good,
I
though.
know,
He's
I know.
like,
He'd
I
figure
think
it
he'd be really, really solid.
I feel like Sandin could play the right side, especially since we have Brody there to, kind of give the tips of being a left-handed defenseman playing right side.
Yep.
But at the same time, do you want to have an entire right side of left-hand defensemen? Like, if we're looking at our left, like, sure, we've got Liljegren, but like, I guess Dermott would have to move, but he's a left shoot right side defenseman at this point. If we're moving Sandin over there and we've got Brody, like, we're weak on the right-handed side.
It's true. It's true. Speaking of the right side, Scott Mayfield from the New York Islanders, who suck, or at least most of the time they do, and they've kind of dug themselves a hole. Not sure if they'll be able to make the playoffs, so maybe Lou Lamoriello starts selling a little bit more. Mayfield is a right-hand D. He's got 2 years, including this year, at 1.45. So a very manageable cap hit for the Leafs, for sure, even if there's some retained, or if Hall goes the other way, something like that. Supposedly he's more of a defensive defenseman, which, again, is a good thing. Maybe he goes to a shutdown pair so that maybe Liljegren can go up, because I'd say Liljegren is more of a offensive mind.
And he's big too, isn't he, Mayfield?
As far as I can tell.
Yeah,
6'5",
I'm pretty sure he's a big for something defenseman. Like,
yeah, as opposed to big for nothing.
He uses his size. I know, like, Hall is, how big is Hall? 6'2", 6'3"? He might as well be 5'11" because he doesn't do anything with it.
Ouch. Sorry, Hall.
I'm just being... Look at that last game. I'm just being honest. Sandin somehow is bigger.
He's had better games
than Hall.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dan, you got anything extra for us on Mayfield that can maybe shed some light on this guy being good or maybe not?
I mean, like, stats-wise, he's pretty consistent, but as you said, he's more of a defensive defenseman. That's, I think, what would help us on the team right now if we're going to do a trade for a D-man. We have a problem with getting a little too excited in the offensive zone, and then nobody comes back, and we see a lot of kind of breakouts from their offense, whoever that is, a lot. So I'd rather him, but at the same time, I'm kind of, and you're right, we can afford the salary, so that's not a huge deal. But I don't know if I'd want to change up our defense right now if, when Muzzin comes back, we get rid of Hall.
And, like, if we're going to get a right side defenseman, just really quick, I don't think we necessarily need to get someone who is going to be a star player. I think we need someone who is better than average in front of his own net and close to average of getting the puck out of the zone. They don't even need to be good at getting the puck out of the zone. As long as you're not a liability at that, we have enough guys that are good at zone exits, but they're terrible in front of their own net. The Leafs have no idea what to do with guys standing in front of their own net. I've been saying this for a while. As soon as they get out of that blue line, they're good. But as soon as it comes back into their own zone, they have no idea what to do. They just need somebody who can play a solid body in front of that net to move guys out of the way so that the goalies can get a good look.
So you want Brody light?
I want Zdeno Chara, please.
Oh, that's
hey,
quite the statement.
Chara's still playing. He's on that team we were just talking about with New York Islanders. Is it that far out of the realm of possibility for him to be on the team? Here's a quick one. Would you accept Chara as a Leaf?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would too. I'd hate it, but I would. And then I'd love him.
I want that monster on my team.
Please pull all the same things you pulled against the Leafs in the playoffs.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
I want a Boston first round series even more if there's Chara.
Oh, that would be gorgeous.
I would love that. Hey, Marchand's on the ice. Chara, attack.
Eat. Chara smash.
Chara smash.
And we can afford his contract, so that's good.
Absolutely, we can. 44 years old. That guy is 44 playing hockey.
That's crazy.
Yep, that's crazy. Last one for potential D-man. Calvin DeHaan. Now, this one, only 1 year. So this year, 4.55. That's a big number. That is a large number.
Less than Muzzin.
Again, kind of defensive defenseman could be a fit for us. Dan, you got some stats for us?
Yeah, so DeHaan is kind of like mid-range in terms of stats. His hits are decent, his blocks are good, and then points-wise, he's kind of mid-teens and then low. Well, in the last season, not great. This season, not great. But the thing that blocks him for me, and one other thing I like about him, is he's from Carp, which is close by to us.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing I don't love is the amount of money we'd be paying for him for one season, especially when Dubas is saying he wants to go with people that have much time as possible. Like, if you're going to take him for one season, it has to be either somebody as a filler position, which I don't know if he'd be a filler position, or somebody really good like Chara that is going to not only intimidate, but shut down the other team. So he's a little bit much for me.
Well, depending on what the ask is for him, Chicago can retain salary. Like, they're not bumping the cap right now, especially this season. Like, the big upgrade or the big contract for Seth Jones doesn't come until next year. So they can retain half of that. And if at 2.225, like that can be a significant upgrade. You know, I don't know a ton about Calvin Hahn, but from what I've kind of gathered, he's kind of a TJ Brody. He's going to put up some points. He's going to be reliable. You're probably not going to notice him a ton on the ice until he does something wrong. And hopefully that's never. But at 2.25, like, he's a veteran guy that could be an upgrade on that right side. Even bump down, if you're moving down Hall and Dermott out of the lineup, like, that gives us some depth. That means we've got a right side guy if someone goes down. We've got a left side guy that if someone goes down. Like, the Leafs need depth at this point because they've had a lot of injuries in the regular season. They've had guys go down in the playoffs. And I think that if Muzzin goes down again, like he has in the last couple series, the Leafs are going to need somebody else who's going to be a dependable defenseman to step into those roles and fill some minutes.
Cool. Supposedly Calvin Hahn plays both sides, so that's good. So even more flexibility, which would be
good
nice
for players dropping off.
I think Hall or Dermott has to go the other way for any of these guys to really make the cap situation work. Yeah. And especially for Mayfield or Dahan, that might be it. That might be it. It might just be a swap of D-men. Hall is, he's solid. He's a solid placeholder. He's got, I think, an extra year. He's not a UFA this year, so whoever is getting him, gets that year. And Dermott, he's younger. Like, he's got a little bit more potential than some of these guys potentially coming our way. So I think it would have to be kind of a 1-for-1 sort of thing. And I wouldn't necessarily mind it, but I do agree with Craig that it's better to have that depth. We didn't really need to use it in the defense last year. Muzzin went down late in the series, and we still had Hutton kind of hanging around.
But that was the moment that Montreal said, we know we can beat this team as soon as Muzzin went down. They said in their locker room, Jake Muzzin is no longer there. We can beat these guys.
Okay. You don't need to remind me.
I'm just saying.
Already broken. Okay, that was fun. How about we make a bet? Dan, you got a bet for us this week?
I do, sir. The Leafs have been playing extremely well on special teams right now. Even though we had a little bit of a lag where the the power play wasn't scoring points. So I'm very impressed with the Leafs special teams, especially the power play. They're top in the league right now at 30.3. So I want to guess the power play percentage over the next 3 games. We play Calgary, Vancouver, and the Kraken. One of these I'm really excited for, obviously, for the Calgary game, because I love watching the Leafs play Calgary, and hopefully we crush them. So, guys, what do you think the power play percentage is going to be in the 3 games that we're going to see?
Okay, and what are we at right now? Did you say that before? 30.3.
And the next highest is 28.5.
But we're only talking about 3 games, so it could be significantly higher. I'm going to say 30.3.
You're going right for the target. Okay.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay, very well. I'm going to go with 14.3.
Oh.
Because I think they're going to go 1 for 7. I'm going to give you my math with feelings this time.
Oh, he's going to win.
What?
Calgary
Fuck.
game, there will be no penalties called. There'll be one penalty, but one power play in that game because it's just going to be a shit show. And they're not going to score. There are going to be 3 power plays in the Vancouver game and 3 in the Seattle game. And they're only going to score 1 against Seattle. So you're going to 1 for 7 for 14.3%.
You have so many feelings.
Wow, that's really pessimistic, Craig. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not really
Okay,
excited
Dan,
for
what
the
do you
games
got?
now. So are these going to lead to game wins or game?
Yeah, geez.
If I knew, I
Okay,
could just go. I could just. Why do I do this? If I just knew all the answers.
That's fair. That's fair. So
You'd be betting a lot more.
yeah, of course. I'm going to come in kind of in the middle, I guess, now, but I'm going to say 26.2. And that is based on
Pretty middle.
almost absolutely nothing other than the hope that they convert a lot of their power plays.
Exciting. By the way, I just tallied it up. We have now evened out again with our bets.
Oh, really?
Halfway through the
Fantastic.
season, we're
just
back to square one.
We're just back to square one. We've done it a couple times actually, but completely evened out again. So that's pretty cool how that worked
I love
out.
it.
We're not nobody's taken all the bets and nobody really sucks either this time. So that's good. That's good.
So you're referring to last season,
This
I
time.
assume, right?
You're referring to me last
Yes.
season. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did. I did.
Craig took it all, and Dan was not good at betting.
Yeah.
So he's getting better. He's learning. Learning is caring.
That's right.
Is that the?
That's how
No,
it
it's
goes. Yes.
not. Learning is caring. Also, if you live or you die a hero, you live long enough to become a villain. And hate, double hate, loathe entirely. Okay, join us next time on the Movie Montage Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Carrey. Go Leafs, go!
Go Leafs, go.
Go, Leafs, go. What do you mean you lost him? It's not like he's a set of fucking car keys.
I love that.
Tyrone, when you go in reverse, things come from behind you.
I think that's top 5 favorite movies for me.
Yours says replica. Mine says Desert
Desert
Eagle
Eagle.
0.50.